let's move on to another team that have been very poor of late. Manchester United lost 3-1 at Brentford. Does anybody think that what is happening at the club is in any way, shape or form surprising anymore? Kieran, this seems consistent with what's happened in the Premier League from a financial perspective. How long can the club continue down this road?
Well, they can continue for a very long time, because if we perhaps compare them to Liverpool's fallow years, and Liverpool went the best part of 25 years, 30 years, whatever it was, without winning a title. And yes, you've got to give them credit, because they did win the Champions League in the intervening times, but they were still Liverpool. They were still that cachet. The fact that Jim Ratcliffe refers to the club as a fantastic brand, I think, is indicative of a cultural issue, which is a problem at the club. The people that have come in from Ineos are treating people as commodities. And if you're operating in the service sector, and that's what Manchester United, they're in the entertainment industry, they're in the service sector, then you've got to work out how to manage people. And I think that is a major problem. The mistakes that they have made have very much come from the top, in terms of giving Ten Hag an extended contract, or effectively taking up the option for a further year, then sacking him, 6-8 weeks later. The recruitment of Dan Ashworth and the sacking of Dan Ashworth, it seems to be very, very muddled. And you've got to look at what's happening at board level, because in terms of resources, Manchester United are at the very highest. They have spent, I was looking at their accounts, which came out recently, they spent £347 million in the year to the 30th of June 2025. So that is very much at the top drawer level. The wages, whilst the wages have now fallen below those of now Manchester City, Arsenal and Liverpool, that is all to do with the fact that they're not paying bonuses. I get to see contracts at times, and I know the bonuses that are paid for Champions League qualification, and that's why the Manchester United's wage bill is down. It's not really to do with sacking Doris in the in the canteen, as sort of is being alleged. So they've got to sort out things as far as the culture of the club is concerned, the management of the club, and then you let the coach and the players move on. Certainly, as far as player investment is concerned, again, they're one of, there's only 3 or 4 clubs that have breached the £1 billion investment in players, and that is Chelsea, who are at 1.5, then Manchester United, then Manchester City, and now we've got Arsenal creeping into that group as well. So the money has been spent. I know nothing about football. I'm always the first to admit that. I can add up, and that's about it. But even I'm saying to myself, well, for £1 billion, with the exception of Bruno Fernandes, when was the last decent signing that Manchester United have made since Sir Alex left?
Let's talk about Bruno Fernandes, Graeme. Do you think if he'd scored his penalty, the game changes? Because the momentum at the time was very much with United, and also within that penalty was the decision. VAR took their time and decided not to overrule the referee and offer a red card.
Yeah, it was key, obviously. If he'd scored it, who knows? They could have got something from the game, but they really didn't play. Did they deserve to take something from the game? I'm not so sure. It was so flat, wasn't it? I'm not a United fan, but it was so flat from United. I was expecting them to go there and win. I really was, Sam. And so, yeah, it's a huge game this weekend against Sunderland. That shows you where this one sentence sums up the issues at Manchester United, Sam. It's a huge game this weekend against Sunderland. That sums up Manchester United where they are now.
This is my favourite part of the podcast. Do you think, from what your understanding, do you think the board still back Ruben Amorim? And if so, is that because they believe in what he's trying to achieve, or is it because they don't want to admit that they were wrong?
Publicly, they are backing him. They say they've got his full commitment. It showed in the summer. They bought they're buying the players he wants for his system. Jason Wilcox is backing him. Behind the scenes, they are doing due diligence on other people. As was revealed at the weekend, Sir Jim Ratcliffe has spoken to Sir Gareth Southgate. We know Oliver Glasner is on their radar, as is Andoni Iraola. I've even been told that Michael Carrick is on standby to fill some sort of role if needed. They are backing him, but at the end of the day, as Kim said, it's an entertainment and results business, and you can only back him for so long.
We are entertaining because entertaining things are unpredictable, and no one is more entertaining than the most unpredictable team.
It's one of those, as we alluded to, this system that he's sticking to. If he is going to stick to it, it's causing issues with the captain, Bruno Fernandes, who was, Kieran said he's one of their better signings. He's not looking like that at the moment. He was woeful at the weekend. He, as I've said before, in my opinion, he's not fit to wear the Man United captain's armband. He can't hold a light up to him with Roy Keanes and the Robsons. He's a good player. He's not a great player. And I think he's having to carry a lot, to be fair to him, if he was allowed just to play in number 10. But you can't do that because they've signed 2 brand new number 10s. Well, players who are playing number 10s, but they're not proper number 10s. It's just so muddled, the whole thing. I last week, when someone asked me the question, Sam, will Amorim see January? I really thought he would. After the weekend's performance and Sunderland coming up, I've got my doubts.
Exciting times. Can the club afford to sack another manager and then employ another manager, Kieran?
Yes, I don't think that will be a problem. Manchester United are very detailed in the costs of redundancy, and we saw that. We've seen that quite a lot of times in recent seasons because they have shifted, not just managers, but also executives have left the club as well. Given that it's £3.5 million per place in the Premier League, it will cost them, say, 10 million to get rid of Amorim. If you move up 3 places, you recover that money. So I think the bigger issue is that Adidas aren't very happy, given that they're paying £90 million a year. So because Manchester United haven't qualified for Europe, that's costing Manchester United 10 million. I've noted that some of the other sort of sponsorship opportunities at the club are not being taken up. And that's when you start to get a little bit twitchy. This is Manchester United. This is arguably the biggest club in the country, if not the biggest club in the world. I know Real Madrid would probably bristle at that comment, but they should be able, with sort of the global interest in the club, to have a queue of willing commercial partners and sponsors, and that queue is not as long as it once used to be. I mean, they did have a good year from a commercial perspective in 24-25 with Snapdragon, with Adidas coming on board, but I don't think the sponsors are getting value for money, and that will make some others think twice.